Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Avowed, and welcome back to our ongoing playthrough on Path of the Damned difficulty with minimal HUD. We've camped here for the night, yet again, and we'll just head right to it.
This may be the most foolish thing I've ever gotten myself into.
High Market, a haven of opulence in an otherwise nice city.
The Adherents have come quietly. They will not take us by force, but with rules and charters. They will steal our city from underneath our feet.
We must stand against tyranny!
The gods will make them pay!
This is where people go to buy stuff that'll just get them mugged everywhere else.
This looks a little bit like Vale has had some influence here. Missives of the Hand Occult. Dearest brother, or was it sister? May this letter find you in well spirits. A man of thuckish bearing stormed into my library the other day and demanded I help him find a book on the construction of an arquebus. I thought it proper service to Whale to steer this man towards an illuminated manuscript on the subject of whittling toy soldiers and other miniature props. Unamused by my solution, I shrugged and said, "What is an answer without a question?" He did not find my spiritual rhetoric helpful or amusing, and so he punched out 2 of my teeth. I trust your summer has been less tumultuous than mine. In more important news, my apprentice claims she saw the eyeless face in a dream the other night. I admit, I was so mad with envy that at first I refused to believe her. Will forgive me for such a lapse of judgment. She described an Almara of brilliant blue hues with a featureless face surrounded by a swarm of eyes. No 2 eyes alike. She claims Whale ignored her questions, and she can't recall any specifics of what was said. In fact, my apprentice seems to have forgotten many things since before the visitation. She could not tell me where she grew up or what she liked to eat. At first I was so envious of her for having seen Whale with her own eyes, but it seems Whale's visit was to conceal, not to illuminate. I pray she endures this test of faith, and can look back at the event and feel the joy of mystery. What is an answer without a question? Last week I felt the solution was ignorance, but after Vale's visit I feel a road without length is closer to the capturing of the riddle. I worry my apprentice would look back at her visit from Vale and feel cheated, robbed of some moment of clarity we all thought we were owed when we first joined. I tried to tell her she was lucky, but she was too young to understand. What is an answer without a question? May I be dead and my soul scattered to the winds before anyone knows for certain. Embrace the mystery.
Ah, a seeker of mysteries. Welcome. You are among friends. Please, close the door behind you.
I'm trying.
Thank you.
Am I the only one who gets the fricas from that mural?
Sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mysterious well, unlock these lands unto us. Provide us with the knowledge our healers seek to heal the wounds of this new land. Its poisons and thorns are sharp and deadly. Keep those secrets you will, but grant us the keys to unlock them ourselves. We beg. May your eyes see all.
Are you guys coming or what? How far do I need to go out before you follow me? Are you ever gonna come out of there? Well, I guess not.
That's Sansa's shop. Might be worth taking a look.
Yeah. Let's go just
Note the graffiti on the wall. Don't always want to follow it.
Welcome! I was hoping you would drop in.
On the provenance and ruination of Neketaka's old city. Excerpt from a lecture given before the annual convention of the Academy of Architectural Historians in Adur. Close examination by learned parties suggests that Neketaka is significantly older than it might at first appear. We take as our example the supporting wound in the city's side, which the locals most charmingly refer to as the gullet. On its face, it is not considerably different from your average slum. Indeed, it contains all that one might expect of such a place: desperate poverty, wrenching hunger, a tavern fare brimming with miscreants, and a flourishing criminal culture. Of course, it has its own unique offering as well, a towering pile of garbage dumped into the district from the more affluent neighborhoods above it. It is, in every sense, abominable. The Juana leadership should be ashamed. But I digress. Far more interesting than the caste stratifications among the Juana are the bones their city is built upon. For beneath the gullet lies a vast cavern littered with the remains of an ancient city, referred to simply as the Old City by the denizens of Neketaka. This sunken metropolis is notable for two reasons. The Old City's architecture is markedly different in style, form, and apparent use from the architecture of modern Neketaka, and there is no readily available explanation for the Old City's destruction that has not already been considered and discounted by those inclined to study it. My peers here in the Academy and beyond believe that the Old City's destruction is clearly the fault of the region's energetic volcanism and subsequent tectonic rumblings. I would caution against grasping at such easy solutions, however. Consider the following. The Juana have lived in the region for thousands of years. Earthquakes are no more a surprise to them than are the archipelago's daily soaking rains. None in Aora match their sheer creativity and expertise in building to withstand these events. Moreover, for all their flexibility in building construction, the Juana's tastes have proven to be remarkably stable over time, and showing a clear preference for designs that mimic the rhythm and shapes of the natural world. The old city shows none of these things. Indeed, what remains was constructed primarily of stone cut in austere blocks, and the buildings are arranged in a manner not dissimilar from those prevalent in the Inguithan ruins that dot the landscape. With those 2 points in mind, does it not seem prudent to ask whether the old city is Juana in origin, and, if it is not, who built it, and finally, what destroyed it? Animancer's Lantern, Valiant Trading Company. Animancy is the art of channeling soul essence into inventions for the betterment of society. With a careful application of copper and atra, animancers can achieve wondrous results. This naval lantern is fitted with a shard of luminous atra from the Deadfire Archipelago, and was once mounted on the Valiant Trading Company galleon Aimo do Spirente. How it washed up on the shores of the living lands is a mystery. The atra is long since depleted and will never shine again. The Emporium would like to remind visitors that the use of animancy is strictly forbidden in Paradis. Unidentified experimental revenant. In 2828 AI, a two-headed revenant shambled out of the wilderness and settled in the outskirts of Dawnshore. Many attempts were made to put down the creature, but eventually the local militia resolved against sending any more soldiers to be devoured. Hunters recovered the remains, starved after a freezing winter. It was in possession of a furred head, identity unknown. A shard of atra was found sticking out of the revenant's chest. The hunters also reported finding a strange collar and bell, but this artifact was never officially catalogued. Fior Mesiverno has disavowed any knowledge of the revenant.
Did the two heads take turns, or was this guy twice as hungry?
Claviger Belden's armor. This armor was worn by Claviger Belden during the dank spore outbreak of 2748 AI, when a bloom of spores infested Dawnshore and threatened to overtake the city. Belden rallied the militia to burn out the colony and restore order, though he fell in the final battle. The walls were later reinforced and the militia trained in the suppression of hostile fungus. While the armor has been thoroughly cleaned of spores, the Emporium kindly asks that visitors appreciate it at a safe distance. Sorib skull and foul legs. Judging by the dentition and size of the cephalic crest, this Sorib died in late adolescence or early adulthood. Its partial remains were uncovered in the far west of Dawnshore, not far from the ruins of a large tribal settlement. The accompanying shells were found with the skull, but are too small to be Sorib eggs. It is more likely that they belonged to local avian life, and the Sorib had been eating them around the time of its death. No ceremonial objects or grave goods were excavated in the area, supporting the theory that the Sorib perished by accident. Fulvano's adventuring gear. Grappling hooks, hammers, and axes are among many of the tools carried by adventurers who brave the wild frontier of the living lands. This set was found at the bottom of a canyon, hurled in anger by the Valiant explorer Fulvano, shortly before he gave up on his expedition of the living lands. It is said that he set sail for the Eastern Reach and never returned. Skeleton of Etzel the Sightless. Etzel the Sightless was a watcher who spent his life in a remote wilderness hut. Blind from birth, Etzel navigated the world with the help of spirits lighting his path. Etzel was rumored to have walked the entire island, untouched from shore to shore. He is the only hermit in the living lands known to have died from natural causes. The Emporium honors his memory by displaying him in quiet dignity. Decapitation was not the cause of death, but one of several mishaps during transport of the remains, which should serve as a reminder to secure a coffin when going around a sharp mountain pass. There's the map. The Cartographer's Guild, Volume 2. In a turn of events that was unprecedented just a few short years ago, Andres Mortar has subsided. The possibilities of exploration that arise from this event are staggering. We at the Cartographers Guild look forward to what the beloved Expedition Corps discovers when they inevitably turn their attention to whatever awaits beyond the seas. In the meantime, the Corps will be busy as the Empire solidifies a foothold in the living lands. The possibility of being able to finally map this untamed wilderness, this fierce frontier, probably stirs the heart of even the youngest apprentice cartographer. As always, we stand ready to put to paper all that our illustrious nation discovers at the behest of our Emperor. Long may he reign. Legacy of the Takan. This slim volume tells the tale of the Takan, a people who lived along the banks of the Aki River on the fertile Ixamiddle Plains. It details their rise to prominence in the region and their eventual demise at the hands of their ancient enemies, the Quechmatl people. A significant portion of the book is given over to examining the role of Takan's order of monks, the Nalpaska, in Takan society. The Nalpaska believed that transcendence could only be attained by overcoming one's personal vanity, the desire for pleasure and fear of death. To that end, they engaged in pointedly antisocial behavior, various forms of self-mutilation, and meditation with or consumption of the recently deceased. The Nalpaska were led by an Anidle, or master warrior, the last of whom was a man named Ixapilo. Ixapilo was charged with protecting his people from the Quechmatl and other threats, but in a tragic twist of fate, Ixapilo died before he was able to pass on his sacred knowledge to the man poised to take his place. The book dwells on this failure for some time, its author apparently of the belief that it was this one error that gave the Quechmatl the opening they needed to launch their attack. The book's author goes on to describe how he attempted to instigate a popular uprising among his people against the Quechmatl, but his efforts were unsuccessful, as the Takan were by then too broken by the destruction of their culture to muster much of a defense. The volume concludes with an exhortation for the reader not to mourn the Takan's passing, but to learn what they had to teach and to teach others in return. Deadly fungi. Harvested from Gallowayne's tusks, left ascension of multitudes. Beneath this fungus's rather dramatic name lies a simple fact. To touch it with bare skin is to invite crippling pain and death. Believed to have been used in a ritual mass suicide in Gallowayne's tusks, the fungus gives off a scent similar to that of rye berries and sage in hopes of luring a victim, which collapses upon contact with the fungus and provides ongoing nourishment for its offspring. Right front, widow's tear, found throughout the living lands but seen as most often in the caves of Gallowayne's tusks. Widow's tears contains a venom that is harmless if ingested but potentially deadly if used as an injected poison, often found growing near shallow graves or exposed carcasses. It contains a foul-smelling liquid that can be used as a source of water depending on one's desperation. Right back, blue feather brush. Nearly identical to the much less deadly witch's hair fungus, the blue feather brush can only be identified by the slightly earthy aroma it exudes when harvested. Mere contact with the skin is harmless, but inhaling the fungus's earthy aroma, even in small doses, can cause shortness of breath, tightness in the chest, and difficulty in maintaining conscious thought. Those stricken by this condition often find themselves stumbling toward caves, cliffs, and small bodies of water where they collapse and provide nourishment for the fungus in its new location. Ingestion leads to an incredible sense of euphoria, followed by a slow, but inevitable, death. Exotic fungi. Front, witch's hair. The strands of this strange fungus contain both spores and a light venom meant to deter predators and paralyze insects and small animals, which would then decompose into nutrition for the fungus itself, often crushed and combined with sulfur to create witch mash, a yellow-green paste often used in small doses to remove wrinkles from under the eyes of the wealthy and vain. Back left. Macron's torch. Seen often in caves near volcanic activity, this ovoid fungus holds small spines inside its bellows-like body. When squeezed, these spikes penetrate the outer membrane and release spores, causing immense pain that could be described as burning. Delicious when properly prepared, and the spines, once carefully removed, can be used as sewing needles or artistic implements. Back right. Blood pipe. Despite the deadly-sounding name, bloodpipe is quite harmless unless crushed and mixed with boiling salted water. The resulting broth, while delicious, would render adult kith senseless within a few moments. The godless were believed to use this soup in controlled doses to induce hallucinations or to relax the mind, but the correct recipe for a safe mixture has yet to be discovered. Taxidermy sporling. A young sporling, preserved, donated by the Wardens of Solace. Believed to be either a worker or a very small warrior, this sporling lived decades ago in a cave in Gallowayne's tusks. It would have spent its life either carrying heavy objects or brutally attacking the knees of its foes. Here, it stands among the fungus of its natural habitat.
Don't be too excited. I could show you living versions of these if we go out to Emerald Stair.
Colorful fungi. Left Clatita, a grassland mushroom named by the Pargrunen for its resemblance to their buckwheat cakes. Though common in the early recipes of Solace Keep, it has become a delicacy due to the inhospitable terrain. Chewy when cooked, imparts an unexpected meaty taste. Right. Sorb goblet, found throughout the living lands, but especially in winter and early spring along forest floors. Locals report that when dried and ground, there is stanch bleeding, and many explorers carry the powder to treat minor wounds. Back. Whale's bud, native to the riverbeds of New Colquhoun, and the source of as much controversy as its kith neighbors. Some naturalists revere it as a powerful hallucinogen. Others report no effect. This researcher questions the standards of their experiments. Fibrous fungi. Left, firecrown, a hardy cave dweller from Gallowayne's tusks, parasitic to insects, despite its appearance unremarkable to eat. However, the Pargrunen claim that it enhances stamina, and they often consume it before battles or long journeys. Enjoys considerable popularity among young warriors for this reason. Right, marrow sponge. Fruits in autumn and winter beneath deciduous trees, a windfall to alien traders who brought it to the republics and made it a culinary trend among the nobility. Best enjoyed with garlic cream sauce and a full-bodied red. Front, Mequin skirt. Unique among living lands fungi for its lack of exclusivity to the terrain. Explorers from the Deerwood recognized it immediately, and it is known as Nanakatl to travelers from the Ixamiddle Plains. It thrives on tree trunks throughout the region, though the matter of how it came either to the living lands or from it remains a mystery. The riches of Sovereign Point. Jewelry, precious stone, and iron ingots recovered from the mining settlement of Sovereign Point. The fate of the original settlers remains unknown. The Longhouse had a prepared feast of meat, mushrooms, and cheeses, ruling out starvation as a cause of abandonment. Some believe the settlers succumbed to the madness of isolation, though others dismiss this as speculative. The riches of their mine were not originally intended for historical preservation, but no one would trade in the artifacts for fear of their purse. Chunk of Yoni Brother and offerings. During the construction of Paradise's walls, builders discovered a sinkhole where a small piece of Yoni Brother, the fallen moon, came to rest thousands of years ago. It was surrounded by coins and other valuables dropped by ancient settlers. What superstitious relevance they held for the moon rock remains a mystery. Many of the early Paradise citizens voiced concerns about unearthing the treasure trove, fearful that an act of irreverence would anger dormant spirits. Nevertheless, the pieces were given a place of honor at the Emporium to commemorate the history of the settlement. No spiritual disturbance has been recorded in relation to this moon rock, though it does have an unusual affinity for spiders.
You're back! What have you found?
I found Gearmund. He's dead, but his map of Dawnshore looks complete.
I warned Gearmund about those Zaribs. It was Zaribs, wasn't it? Oh, on second thought, don't tell me. Please, keep searching. I'm sure the others will turn up soon.
How about those supplies you've got for sale? Yeah, we'll buy some Adra. some parties and ladders. I will sell that arquebus. Doesn't really have much else. It's interesting to us. Ancient Evil Spittoon. This artifact is believed to be a ceremonial spittoon used by the godless, the earliest known settlers of the living lands. What dark rites were committed in the shadows of those time-haunted edifices? What foul humors were expelled into the orifice of this unholy relic? What malevolent spirit rose up from its fetid mouth, vibrating with evil intent? The Emporium would like to apologize for the baroque and speculative description. This is an ordinary lamp, nothing more. We will retain the plaque in its original state as a cautionary example of what happens to scholars with more imagination than reason. Nassatak Poetry, a compilation. The Expedition. I move. There is no compulsion, it is not a need. But something pulls. I cannot deny its draw. The light wends out past my vision. Its fierce eyes watch me as I move. The wolf tracks my step. A silent companion who will not join. All is blank. The pale expanse lies before and behind. I search. The miles pass and still my feet move. My hunt continues unabated. The landscape returns my gaze unaffected by my presence. The snow falls, needles driven by the wind. Its cold teeth bite my skin. The snow gathers its hands around my feet. A fierce opponent who will not relent. All is white. My journey continues. I travel. I can no longer stop. A true compulsion forms. The need drives me on. I must see. The sun breaks through the gray. Its unrelenting gaze thaws me. My body warms under its touch. Frigid limbs move again and carry me farther. All is empty. The breath of existence is my destination.
I don't think my assistants are hiding in there.
Nobody has keys. Artifact observations. Notes on the trinket recovered near the eastern ruins. Sacred object, but to whom? Iconography suggests Wodika. Very old. Perhaps from first Aderin settlers. Did Aderin ships land here centuries earlier than we thought? Curious implications for historical record. Definitely incomplete, though. Part of a larger relic? More fragments in the area? Warm to the touch. Enchanted? Valuable.
I understand a curious spirit, but I promise that region is well mapped.
Of course. Godless pottery. Recovered from godless ruins in Shatterscarp. Left a ceremonial urn used for transporting liquids or possibly the ashes of the dead. Center, front, back. Small vessels for containing and pouring liquids for healing and recreational purposes. Right, a flat bowl, possibly used for communal meals.
Wouldn't want to mix your communal meals bowl with your ashes of the dead bowl.
No, it sounds like a bad time. Godless pottery. Recovered from godless ruins in Shatterscarp. Left a flat bowl, presumably possibly used for communal meals. Center front. Urn, possibly used as a planting pot or receptacle for bodily waste. Back left, small bottle used to hold perfume and incense. Back center, pitcher, possibly used for juices or oils. Back right, ancient carafe, unadorned with decoration, likely used in day-to-day cooking. All right. coins. The Imperial envoy diving in the canal dive. Hoovering up all the loot.
Do you really think the Adherents killed the Cloucher?
Are you kidding? Even the High Inquisitor wouldn't do that. They know it turned the whole city against them.
But the city is already under lockdown. They could take it from the inside.
Take it. The militia would put them down in an afternoon.
Would they though?
Don't make eye contact. They'll attack your peace of mind.
I had a guy ask me whether dreams had a taste here once.
I'm telling you, that so-called Watcher is a fraud.
Excuse me, are you going to see the Watcher?
Nope, I was just passing through.
That's perfect. You can be an impartial mediator. My friend and I are metaphysical philosophers, and we have hit a bit of a snag.
If you want to run, now's our chance.
Don't mind me. I'll be over by that building not caring an ounce about this.
I say Watchers are a hoax, and he says Watchers are magical, all-knowing windows into the afterlife.
I only trust things I can see, feel, and fight. You should do the same.
That isn't how philosophy works.
Doesn't matter. I won the argument, so pay up.
Thank you for your perspective, Envoy. We'll trouble you no more.
You ever meet people who have too much free time on their hands?
Ah, I missed it.
As long as there's people in the city, there's merchandise to be found and sold. An Adherent? Come to see my wares? Well, don't I feel blessed?
Why's that?
Your kind don't go scrounging in alleys every day, do you? The Empire doesn't have much of an interest in people like me.
And who might you be?
Where are my manners? Name's Cutty. I'm a trader of lost things. They come my way, I peddle them for people like you to find.
Sounds like a fancy way of saying you're a fence to me.
Now wait, you don't need to jump straight to shutting me down. I'm sure we can work with each other. What's your voice? Sveth? Coin?
You're not hurting anyone. I can look the other way, for a price.
By all means, take some silver. I knew you could be reasonable. Now that that's taken care of, can I help you find anything?
Let me see what you have in stock. No. Let's see, should we buy the Blackwing boots? Yeah, we can do that, right. Dexterity bonus is pretty good. Oh, he actually has a pistol.
Whatever you need, discretion. Mission guaranteed.
Alright, so we're dodging further. We are a little slower.
Yeah.
God, I hope she can help.
They say a strong soul can withstand this dream scourge. Hey, wait your turn!
Watcher sees all. The Watcher knows all.
Right, I'm sure.
Your soul, envoy. Your very soul is in danger. The Watcher can see it. The Watcher knows. An envoy. A godlike. Two destinies come together. How curious.
Liviana warned me you were a fraud.
Many fools who lack courage have called the Watcher such.
Liviana delivers proof of her expertise every day. You don't.
Duh, fine. I don't actually know what I'm doing.
You gotta do better than that. Fake watchers are like seashells out here.
Ugh, my trade's been cut off since the city closed, and I have to make ends meet. At least I'm giving people hope. Can you Adiran say the same?
Yeah, for some people. The right people, as it were. The Dowdy Burglar. A Derwooden Farce, Part 2. Belmis stands in front of the drink tray. Belmis picks up a small metal box next to the brandy. What could possibly convince him to give her up? Belmis opens the box and observes its contents. He looks up, a wicked grin on his face. He closes the box and sets it down. He turns his back, lost in thought. The door flies open and Torfel enters. He sees Belmis and stops. Belmis turns at the noise of the door, eyes wide. What? Immediately, rushed, interrupting. Torfel, my good man! Such a pleasure to finally meet you after so long. Who? Ireby! Surely you were expecting me. Did you not get word I would be here tonight? When? I only just arrived. The weather kept me up, else I would have arrived sooner. How? Perfenda let me in and told me to wait for you in here. She said she was off to find you. Ireby, of course. Welcome to my home. So sorry for my manners. I was not expecting you for at least an hour. They shake hands, and then Torfel starts pouring drinks for them. Yes, well, it's just this contract. I am eager to settle the matter. We both know it must not fail, don't we? Torfel stops. But I was told you were set against this. I invited you here to convince you. Would you rather I change my mind back? Shall we argue a belabored point, or shall we celebrate our new accord? Of course. How stupid of me. Torfel holds the glass out to Belmis. To business. Belmis sets the glass down and picks up the box. He opens it and sticks his finger inside. It comes out with a dark paste on it. He reaches toward Torfel's mouth. Shall we celebrate properly? Oh, no. No. I never touched Svev. But I knew you were partial to it. By all means, go ahead. Belmis grunts and looks at his finger. He approaches Torfel. I must say, this turn of events is quite welcome. I was sure it would take hours to... Thrusting his finger at Torfel's mouth. What is that? Turning his head, Belmis's finger passes by his lips without touching. What? Oh, nothing. My mistake. I was sure I saw something. Belmis walks around behind Torfel and approaches him from the other side. I was sure it would take hours to convince you to see things from my side. It does my heart good to... Thrusting his finger at Torfel's mouth again. There it is again! Torfel, turning his head so Belmis's finger passes by his lips without touching. What? Where? Damn! Nothing. I guess I was imagining things. That must be incredibly potent sweat. I've never heard of it working before application. Be careful now. It can be difficult to drug people without their consent. I assume. Here we go.
Looks like they forgot to man this checkpoint. Ever.
Oh, there's a health potion over
there. I remember the family who lived there. I really thought they'd make a go of it. Shame a perfectly good house has to sit around empty.
Oh, gods. They've looted the place. Is it true what they say? That the Inquisitor is some kind of monster?
Well, that didn't take long.
Someone's been busy here.
Don't mess with us! Quit moving! Stop right there!
What the hell?
What is this? Try that again.
I got way too focused. Okay. Yeah, these guys are tough. I'm also not really using abilities correctly.
It's the envoy! I can't. What's this? Gotcha.
Please do not jump, man. And he's just standing here jumping. He can't even move. Whatever, man. Whatever. Like, he was literally just standing there. I couldn't move. I could just jump up and down. That was it. That was the extent of my movement. Range right there. Like, what the fuck was that shit?
You're gonna regret this. You alright?
No. I also can't really see them very well in there. Like, ideally, I would like to draw them out, but I can't tell my allies not to go in there. I can't tell Kai not to run in there. He'll just run in there blindly.
I got it.
Jumping. Jump, 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 jump. That's all he does is freaking jump. God damn it. Oh man, it's annoying.
You shouldn't be here. Give him the
Fly full, like the way they lunge forward is just hilarious to me. It really is. Alright, let's try this again. Please do not run in there, man. What are you even doing?
Be sick. Coming from your right. I won't let him go. Quit moving.
Much better.
Nice work.
Yeah, that was No.
Once I got drunk and lost back here looking for the chamber pot. Aiming through the best parties.
Claviger's Journal, first entry. Adir has kindly offered to set up an embassy in Paradis. By kindly, I mean they landed on our shores without notice. And by offered, I mean their soldiers occupied a building in town, keeping an eye on these developments. Saints' War, Part 1, Overthrow. There is much debate with historians as to when the Saints' War really began. It is widely accepted that the event that instigated it was the sanctuary flight of the Rietzeran citizens to the Deerwood. This led to direct strife between the two nations that escalated into battle, the Saints' War. But it is the author's opinion that the war truly started many years before. After the miracle of the Verdant Vorlis, as it came to be known, Waidwen quickly gathered followers, drawn to the stories of Eothas' miraculous prophet. His power grew. Eventually, Waidwen had gained enough support that he confronted the imperial governor. Assisted by a collection of knights and nobles who had been swayed to his cause, he marched from the capital city. The governor was allowed to live, but was forced to abdicate power and leave the colony. This was not from any understanding or easy acquiescence from the governor, but because of what happened when Waidwen entered the governor's palace. As Waidwen approached the governor, according to accounts, his body turned into something that was no longer human. His flesh became luminescent, and his head transformed into pure, blinding light. Other accounts suggest that Waidwen had become a being of light at an earlier time, when he was whipped in the public square. The outcome of his visit to the palace, however, is uncontested. The governor, knowing there was no way he could oppose an avatar of Eothas, relinquished his power. The people then asked Waidwen to lead the colony. He accepted, earning him the name Divine King of Rietzeras. Waidwen's rule was virtually uncontested. Initially, this was because everyone was awed that a god had chosen to manifest himself and lead his people. This changed as Waidwen began punishing the allies of the old empire and the poison on the world, what he considered corrupt churches or church leaders of Eothas. Scrutiny escalated, and soon worshippers of Eothas were also being punished for mere perceptions of heresy. Members of other religions were also added to the list of the persecuted for following different faiths. This caused large segments of the population to flee Rietzeras for the Deerwood, begging for sanctuary. This caused strife between the two nations. The people of the Deerwood knew that they could not sustain explosive population growth if Waidwen's rule were to continue unchecked. They also feared that his eye would turn from Rietzeras and land on them next if nothing was done. This was exactly what ultimately happened, and open war broke out as Waidwen moved to spread his dominion into the lands of the Deerwood. The Saints' War, Part 2, Invasion. Waidwen personally led many of the battles during the war, exhibiting extraordinary supernatural powers. He seemed virtually untouchable in the battlefield, able to burn or even disintegrate his enemies with beams of blinding white light. With a god on his side, and possibly, as some said, inhabiting him, he was thought to be indestructible. It appeared that he may have been, until the Battle of Halket's citadel. The people of the Deerwood knew they would lose the war if they could not at least slow Waidwen down. Engineers, priests of Makran, and a few others working in secret, some say with Makran's direct help, developed a weapon they hoped would be able to stop a god, 12 feet in diameter, and filled with a variety of chemical and magical explosives. The bomb was rolled under Evan-Dur Bridge. Part of the foundation was excavated in order to allow them to embed the bomb in the bridge itself, ensuring its total concealment. 12 Deerwooden men and women volunteered to stage an ambush at the bridge to keep Waidwen on it until the bomb could be detonated. The battle was short, bloody, and ultimately final. The dozen, as they came to be known, were able to delay Waidwen on the bridge. The bomb detonated, killing Waidwen, the 4 Deerwooden volunteers still alive at the time, and over 50 Rietzeran soldiers marching on the front line with Waidwen. It was at that moment the Saints' War ended. The remaining Rietzeran forces were easy to rout. Even though they had more than enough men and equipment to finish the siege, their leader, who previously fought invincible, had just vanished in a rain of metal and stone. Panic set in, and the Deerwooden troops sent them away with ease. From that point on, the bomb was known by the name Godhammer. It even worked its way into everyday conversation. As sure as Godhammer ended the Saints' War, came to be a standard phrase to express unequivocal certainty. Less certain is the fate of Eothas, who has not spoken to his followers since the explosion of the bomb and is presumed by most to be dead. Lest some concerned citizens express their worry or other more industrious think they could reproduce the results. The author would put the thoughts from your heads. Since that time, there has never been another documented explosion of such magnitude, and efforts to locate the engineers and clergy responsible for the bomb have been entirely fruitless. Godhammer was a unique, fortuitous occurrence. Its like will never be seen again without divine intervention. Clavister's Journal, second entry. Ambassador Hildegard promises that all he wants is a diplomatic relationship with the living lands. But Inquisitor Ludwin, she wants a gallows, public executions, and secret interrogations. I don't know what to make of our new guests. Some days, I feel like a stranger in my own city.
I'm starting to see why Eamon was going gray all of a sudden. If there's anything worth finding, it'll be in here.
Glanfathan customs. Glanfathan customs can seem primitive and unsophisticated to some, but all customs begin with a ritual or superstition, so why should theirs be considered less than any other? If they are examined closely, Glanfathan celebrations stem from a deep and rich culture, and all tie into their history in a significant way. The Festival of the Ancients. The Festival of the Ancients takes place during spring dawn, and is a time to celebrate the Glanfathans settling in Glanfath. It is a simple 3-day ceremony that is mostly centered on feasts. These feasts are set up around the ruins scattered throughout Glanfath. Wreaths made from tree branches and flowers are placed at the ruins, and prayers are said to the gods, thanking them for health and prosperity. The Cleansing. The cleansing started as a protest, recreating the hardships wrought upon the Glanfathans by the Adiran colonists when they started settling the Deerwood. It has morphed over the years, and is now used as a game, mixed with a teaching tool, to inform young Glanfathans about the history of their people. The cleansing takes place on New Year, and mid-year now acts as a metaphor for real events instead of a recreation of the events themselves. Sorib effigies are placed throughout the forest, hollow clay shells filled with sweets and gifts. The children then search the woods for the effigies and destroy them, cleansing the forest so the Glanfathans can move in and occupy the areas. After the area has been cleared, they gather for a celebration and feast where the elders tell the young members the true story of their people's history. Holiday of the Black Tree. A combination of a day of remembrance and celebratory feast, the Holiday of the Black Tree is held on the second day of autumn falling, when the trees are still colorful but losing their leaves, and the land is becoming cold and dark. Glanfathans use the day to tell the story of the War of the Black Trees, and remember those who were lost. During the morning, the adults hang elaborate garlands from the tree branches. The garlands are made from red, orange, and yellow flowers and represent the flames that swept through the forests of Glanfath, destroying everything in their paths. After a morning of fasting and reflection, the children are set to run through the streets, tearing down the garlands and bringing them back to the feast, decorating the tables with wildflowers, turning the horror of war into something beautiful. Then they eat, cheering the peace they now have with the Deerwooden people, and toast to many more years of peace to come. Also of note in Glanfathan culture is their abundance of traveling customs. Being a semi-nomadic people, they practiced customs to ensure their safety while on the move. Traveling customs. If you are taking a quick trip, purchase a gift for someone you are visiting and leave it at your home. If something important is left undone, such as giving a gift to a loved one, you will always return to finish the task. If you are taking a longer trip, leave remembrances of your trip, no matter how well you know the road. Drop some pebbles along the way or tie ribbon to the tree branches. Mark your path away, and you'll always have a safe and easy trip back. Evil spirits and dangerous creatures are everywhere in our world. If you decorate your cart with masks, they will scare away any danger that might otherwise approach. But you must decorate your cart anew every time, or the evil won't be fooled by your ruse. Clavister's Journal, secret page. Apparently there is a growing rebellion in Paradis. My own people defy the Adirans. They rally from the shadows and sharpen their blades in the name of independence. Good. I taught them well. I cannot openly support them, but I have my ways. Down a chain of clerks and agents I have passed the key to our cistern. The door is in the Temple of Andra, a fitting sanctuary. May they use this hideout to their advantage. I will hold on to the spare. A time may come when I have to warn the resistance. Or join them myself.
Well, there you have it.
So, Claviger Amon not only knew about the rebels, he also gave them access to a hideout in the cistern.
You knew the Claviger. Did you have any idea about this?
None. I knew he was protective of Paradise, but I never would have dreamed he'd get in bed with organized rebels. Look, everyone who settles in the Living Lands comes from somewhere, but until recently, those settlers have been people, not nations. But when Adir built an embassy and filled it with dignitaries and troops, some started to worry that your laws and governors would follow.
Right, all of that. Don't forget why we're here. You hired me to hunt the rebels down, and now we know where they are. A cistern beneath the Temple of Andra. Good place for a hidden base. It sits just below the city, where the people and patrols will never look.
Let's go.
On to the Temple of Andra, then. It's east of here, just across the canal, in the plaza with the big statue.
Right. After you.
Claviger's journal, final entry. There is a foulness in the wind blowing past the strangle root. Hildegard wants to assemble a small party to investigate. I have no particular reason to doubt his motives, though it is strange how many of our party will be adherents. Stop by Sansa's shop. Call it a day there. Sell some stuff. Call it a day.
There's a joke about Paradise's government in here, somewhere.
Isokso!
That was not the right.
Get him!
You take lead.
Never saw it coming.
Over here!
I found that one!
He's still aggroing me even though he... What?
On your right! Oh, that's...
And I can't dodge. So, God damn it, man. I don't understand the aggro there. Man, it's so inconsistent, and Kai isn't always great at holding it. No idea why she aggroed on me.
It's the envoy. Get him!
Right behind you.
Remind me not to spook you. Not bad, Marius.
Yeah.
Well, so actually, let's sell it to the fence, right? That makes sense.
Long as there's people. Hello, Adiran.
Alright. So the gemstones first. Mace. Can actually upgrade the dagger as well. Yeah. The second dagger to find. Well, we might do that next episode. Either way, this is where I'm going to call it a day. Thank you very much for joining me for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. We got some stuff done. Advanced the investigation. We know where to go now to apparently find our assassin. So I hope you'll join me for that next episode. And until then, please do take care, be safe, and enjoy life. Good night and good luck. Bye-bye.